day 8 of 30-day articulation practice challenge. And for today, I would like to discuss a recent movie that I watched that had quite an impact on me. The name of the movie is King's Speech. The story is about a second son of King who has speech impediment, who has a lot of struggle with speaking, more mainly him stammering. And it happens very often, especially in the situations where he is under stress. So the story starts out at the stadium where he has to give a speech in front of thousands of people. And this is all happening around 1935, 1936. So right before the Second World War. So from one side, he has Hitler pushing, and from the other side, Stalin's army is pushing. So, and he's in between in London, UK. So he goes to the stadium and he has a letter from his father, who was a king at the time. And all he had to do was just stand there and read out the letter. He blurts out maybe a sentence or two, and then he gives up because he doesn't know what to do. The scene ends abruptly there, and the next scene is where they are working with a speech therapist who has 10 marbles, and he asks him to put it in his mouth. And after him having the marbles in his mouth, the teacher, this mentor, asks him to read aloud a piece of paper where he has a lot of trouble. After 10-15 seconds, he just gives up and he just leaves the room. Saying this, his wife, the queen almost, struggles with him. And while she's struggling also, she's looking for a different speech therapist who can help his husband to gain back his communication skills and his confidence. So he finds this interesting persona who is a speech impediment therapist in the south side of the London. She goes in and they make an appointment, and he starts working with him. Initially, they want to start off as equals so that the results will be better, so that both of them are on the same level and on the same page. And it's all happening almost during the Second World War. And they have a lot of pressure to either give up the country to Germany or fight for it. And he has an elder brother who is next to be the king, but the older brother is running around wild, having fun with women and not caring about his duties. After some time, the king has had enough, and he's going through some very serious health risk concerns. And he calls in both of his sons. And the older son arrives from far away, and he takes the throne. He becomes the king. But instead of taking on the responsibilities of his duty, he throws big parties, not paying attention to what is actually happening in the country and how people are responding to it. Seeing this, the younger brother is infuriated because he wants to stop this uncertainty within the country, and they want to preserve this kingdom and the status of the kings, while his older brother, now king, is just running around wild. And on top of that, there was a little twist that king cannot get married to a divorced woman, while the older brother, king, is he has already set his mind to marry this woman who has been divorced twice. And from the observant's point of view, it's obvious that this woman is manipulating him. After back and forth, after some back and forth, and obviously with the help of church, because at that time church influence was almost as kings, so they have to negotiate with the church point of view as well. So after some back and forth, the older brother decides to resign and give the kingdom to the younger brother, who is still battling with speech impediment, but at least he's not afraid of facing it courageously. So after the younger brother becomes the king, he still has issues with speech impediment, and this teacher is helping him with his speech while helping him to discover himself and work on his insecurities and on his flaws, which one of them was he was quick to anger, because he was having trouble expressing his emotions, and he would bottle it up and just explode at a time. So as the time goes on, he starts making more and more logical and correct decisions. And after he becomes the king, they have to give a big speech, which he is horrified of. But with the help of his mentor, his teacher, they manage to do it well. And so much so that they become close friends. And the teacher helping him overcoming his insecurities of speech, despite his stammering, shows the fact that we, despite where we are, where we are in the social hierarchy, we all have our own issues. And we have to deal with them with head on. And the movie ends him becoming a king and claiming his own territory, saying that if there is a necessity to go for a war with Germany, they will. But they're not going to give up the country that easily. That helps to encourage a nation to stand up for themselves in the time of crisis. And he is now remembered as the sixth king of United Kingdom who stood against the difficulties of Nazi Germany.